Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to Strikeout Bros with Lasha and Pablo. We're back with another one. This is gonna be a special edition episode, and the name of the episode is it time for the robotic umpire in the MLB? How's it going, Lash?
Hey, what's going on, man? Yeah, this is a really good topic. What led us to this topic is there's been outrageous calls this year so far with umpires making horrible calls on balls and strikes and plays that are either out at home when they're safe or on the base pass or things like that. So it finally got to a point where MLB is really considering using robotic umpires to see if that will also speed up the game but reduce the man-made errors that do come along with when you have a human being behind the plate judging what is a ball, what is a strike, and things like that.
Yeah, I think it's special. I think I'm totally interested in the ABS system. That's what they call it, the automatic balls and strike system, right? They've implemented it in the minor leagues since 2019. So basically, in the minors, what they do is, there's two series with a team, right? So the first series is called by human umpires, and then they use the ABS system in the second series of the game. The only difference is that when you have a human umpire calling the games, they have a challenge system just like they do in the MLB. But when you throw the ABS system in, you can't challenge plays. So basically, they did a Q&A with the minor league players, and they're interested in being able to challenge the AI as well. Because, I'll give you a perfect example. So, the Nashville Sounds, right? They were playing the St. Paul Saints, and the St. Paul Saints they were down, and there was two outs in the bottom of the ninth, and the first baseman Alex Kirilloff was had a 3-2 count, and the next pitch was a strikeout, and he thought it was high and inside, but he wasn't able to challenge it. There's no point in arguing with the ABS system, so they're interested in being able to challenge it. So they're trying to figure it out, and Manfred, the commissioner, Rob Manfred, he's the commissioner for MLB. He wants to implement the ABS system as well, but he's taking his time with it because he wants to make sure that it's near perfect. And he's implemented a lot of new rules into the MLB since 2023 with the pitch clock and the shifting. So he's taking his time, and he wants to bring in all these little rules a little bit at a time, so it doesn't overwhelm the fans and stuff. But what do you think, Lars? You think the ABS system is a good thing for MLB, or you think it's a waste of time?
So it'll be good for the sense of it won't delay the game. What I've noticed lately in a lot of games is just like the way it's in football, these reviews take forever. And in baseball, it's worse because baseball is it's deciding whether someone is safe or out. Where in football, when you review a play, you determine did the guy get the ball? Was his feet down? What was this? What's that? What's this? What's that? In football, I mean baseball, it's pretty straightforward. Did the guy's foot, touch the base before the ball got to the the fielder's glove? So they've noticed that it just takes forever and ever, and it slows down the game. And baseball's new way of playing the game is try to speed up the game. Why? Because speed, if you speed up the game, people may be more enthralled, be drawn to want to watch the game because they always say, "Oh, baseball is such a boring sport; it takes forever. Why would anybody watch?" You know, which is true. But I think it'll be good in that sense. But the problem is what's going to come bite them it's going to bite them in a major situation if it's a playoff game, and it's the last strike of the game, and the pitch was clearly a ball. They called it a strike, and now you have automatic umpire. There's no one to argue the play, and the MLB's not going to switch it. And now, a team might have lost out on a championship because of
Yeah,
a machine,
understand that.
But
Yeah,
also, the goal of this is to reduce the amount of human errors that there currently are in baseball. There are a lot of errors. You know, what was that pitcher on what was it uh, the Detroit Tigers several years ago? He had a perfect game taken away from him because one didn't have replay, but two, the umpire called the guy safe when he was clearly out. So a situation like that, if you had an automated thing, basically the decision is going to be made based off of replay and not by a physical person. So it's something like that might, have changed the outcome of a game and also, the history books. So it'll be interesting how it works.
Yeah, I'm totally interested in it. I mean, I've seen a lot of incorrect plays happen over the last couple of years, and it's bothersome. I feel like it hurts the game. Especially if your team is in a situation where they can win the game and the play gets called improperly. It just hurts as a fan. So I'm interested in it, and I love what the minor league system is doing. They're starting it out there. They're getting the feedback from the players out there, and that's awesome. I love it. Because these are the guys that are gonna come into the league and come to the big show. So they're getting a taste of it. So it's a great opportunity for these players in the minors to be able to say, you know what, I had a lot to do with that system, and we helped, refine it. So I like that. I think it's really cool. I think that it's gonna change the game for the better. I think that all those pivotal moments in games where that play gets called wrong, it just kills me. It kills me. You know, Mr. Angel Hernandez is a perfect example of that. How many times has Angel Hernandez, you know, called a play incorrectly and hurt the game? So I'm really interested in it. And what's cool about it, for those of you that don't know, right? So pretty much the AI calls the balls and strikes, right? And then that gets relayed to the ump behind the plate, and he calls it out physically. So it's not like you're not gonna know until you look at the screen. No, you don't have to look at the screen because the information is being fed into the umpire's ear, and then he actually calls the play from there. So you're still gonna have the umps out there, you know. But like I said, so basically what happens is in the first series of the first series against the team, it's gonna be controlled by the umps, and then the second series is gonna be controlled by the AI. This is how they're doing in the minors right now at the moment. But it's pretty cool. So basically, you have a challenge system when the human umpire is calling the game, and then they don't have the challenge system when the AI is calling it. So the minor leaguers are stating that they would also like to be able to challenge the call even if the AI is calling the game. And I find it interesting. And Rob Manfred is taking his time. He's trying to figure it out, and he's trying to implement it into the MLB as slowly as possible, but they want to make sure that it's really refined and it's almost perfect before they transition into the MLB. And I'm interested. I kind of like it. I don't see how it would hurt the game at all. It would actually make the game a little faster, right? Because we keep hearing that people are interested in watching the game speed up and be a lot faster and not have all these, problems as we go along. Games are already pretty fast now at this moment, with the pitch clock and the shift and not being able to, go up to the mound and speak to your pitcher as much. I like it. I like it. It's not that bad. And then with you know, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. I think
Yeah,
so.
what I want to know is with the current automatic balls and strike system in the minor leagues, what is the accuracy rate of this system? Because I haven't heard a lot of complaints, so it must be working. So if that's the case, I think players will be accepting of it if they realize, okay, you know what, this machine's pretty accurate. It knows like it's like how like when you're driving down the highway, you have the it's this thing that goes off if you're going too fast down the road. Same thing. So if it's accurate like that, where it can precisely read exactly, where the ball is. You know how like when you're watching the games on ESPN, they have that projector system that kind of like a graphic that shows like where the ball lands. If it's like that and where it's pretty accurate, you're gonna have a less complaining, and then players will be more receptive. But if they realize, I don't know if it's going on in the minors, where like, oh my God, this system is completely way off. It's worse than the umpires. Then that's the only way I can see it's not going to work. But we haven't heard any major complaints, and seems like the minor league players are more receptive to it. So who knows?
Yeah, I think it's gonna be okay. I think it's gonna work out. So now we're gonna talk about Mr. Angel Hernandez, who suddenly retired recently, right? So they're saying that it had a lot to do with the social media, and they were letting him have it every single time he ruined the game with those awful calls. So social media magnifying glass finally burnt the ant. Like it's pretty crazy. I love it. Like back in the day, when he first started in '91, it was way different than it is now. Because with social media, as soon as you cough up a play, you make a mistake, it's all over social media in the next minute, and millions of people get to watch it, and see it. Back in the day in '91, think about it. You made a mistake on the field. If that wasn't the team that you were interested in, you didn't catch the play, and if you weren't in that city, you pretty much didn't even hear about it, because you had to actually get up, go out and grab the paper, and read about it. So it was a little different. It was a little different. But now in this age with social media, it's pretty crazy, because everybody tunes in. So let's say
And you get the
Milwaukee,
results right away.
you get the
It's not
results
like
right
an all
away.
night wait to think about it.
Exactly. And then, you got the video. The video shows exactly what they're talking about, and it's pretty crazy. So Mr. Hernandez ended up retiring. So who knows what really happened? All I know is that MLB had approached Hernandez earlier this year about retiring, but he stated that he wasn't forced out. But I don't know.
We know he was.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was. This is the thing about baseball. So we can go back to saying these minor leaguers, yeah, maybe they don't like the ABS system at all, but since they're trying to get up into the majors, they're probably really, quiet about it because they don't want to stir the pot. Because it's like, when you first get a new job, you don't want to say too much about what you think is wrong with the job and how you can fix the job. You're just happy to be there. So it's interesting because these guys are trying to, they're playing their hearts out. They want to get to the majors, and even if the system, the ABS system, isn't working for them, you think they're gonna really voice their opinions on it the way a player like Lindor who's making like $342 million, over a 10-year span? You think what's the difference there? The difference is that this guy's rich. He signed a contract and he's able to voice his opinion whenever he really wants. Now he can't say that he plays for a BS team or he's not really happy there because he wears a brand. He's wearing that jersey and he works for this team and he's getting paid by that team. It's a little different from a minor leaguer who just came up and he's happy to be there. He's excited and he's trying to perform to try to make the big show. So I think it's like it's a weird situation for them as well. Because they're like, wow, I never really played with this system in college. I didn't have to deal with this when I was in high school. I've never even, I never even heard of this. And now all of a sudden I have to, incorporate this into my game. It's kind of crazy. But who really knows? I think it's interesting. I think it's, something to work on. I think it's going to change the game for the better. I like it. I'm excited, to be honest with you. I'm excited.
Yeah, no, it'll be interesting. Speaking of umpires, like you said, we brought up earlier, with Hernandez um, retiring, not too many people will be crying over his retirement. I think a lot of players are just fed up with him. The only bad thing I'll see if they do fully go with the robotic umpires is you're not going to see the crazy outbursts from like the Terry Collins of the world or the Aaron Boones of the world, and seeing managers go back crap crazy, throwing the hat all over the place and rubbing in the dirt because
Yeah, it's
they
not going
want
to
to
be
get their 2 cents into the umpire. You won't be able to do that. So I'm going to
exactly.
miss that that aspect of the game because I enjoy that. It's fun to
Yeah,
see
everybody does.
a
It's
guy
funny
get
how.
mad over nothing at the end of the day. It's just like
Yeah,
it's funny. It's literally a grown adult having a tantrum like a little kid. Like when I take away tell my nephew he's got to go to bed because it's it's late, and he starts going crazy. Same thing,
Yeah, it's
don't.
true. It's funny. It's part of the drama of this of that specific sport. It's funny how that works. You see the pitcher get super upset, and it kind of messes with his psyche, and he's like, you know what? I shouldn't even be up here right now because I just finished striking that guy out. I had bases loaded, with 2 outs, and I ended up nailing this guy with a strike, and this ump is calling a ball on me. Like that gets into your psyche. That really hurts a pitcher at points. But with this system, hopefully, none of that happens. So it kind of works for the pitcher if it's a system that really works as well as they're saying it does. And like I said, I'm looking forward to it. But the tantrums from the batters and the drawing, it's definitely gonna dwindle if this system does what it's supposed to do. I love it. I love it. I love it. These are the things that I look forward to making the game better. Making the game better. I love it. I mean, it's just a ABS system. Like, remember, it's all automated balls and strikes. It's not like the umps aren't gonna still have to call that play at second when the man is running from first to second on the steal and the play is really close. They still have to call those, and thank God we're able to challenge that kind of stuff because it's very important. Those are bang bang plays, and it's really hard to catch sometimes. Especially depending on what angle the ump is looking at it from. You know, but it's a move in the right direction. I think so. I think so. I
Yeah,
wonder what a lot of the people listening think. Maybe
yeah, it'll be
you
interesting. But like you say, before we were talking about how before they had installed the pitch clock, we were all we were complaining, oh, this is terrible, blah 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 blah. Now you won't be able to play mind games with the pitcher and the hitter. You can't twirl your bat around 7 times before you step into the plate or keep stopping. But now that it's implemented, we seem to love it. I love it. A lot of people starting to accept it. Same thing is going to happen. It's going to be a gradual process of when it does become implemented. It's going to take some time to learn. It's just like at your job when they have a new rule that you got to follow, a new protocol. It's going to take a while because you've never heard of that rule, or you've never and you don't like it. But guess what? It's the rule, and it takes a while to adjust to it. But after a while, you're like, okay, now I see why they're doing it, even though I don't agree with it. But now it makes sense. So it'll take a while, but like I said, if it's about bettering the game, it's going to speed up the game, and and there's going to be less antics involved, then I'm all for it.
yeah, I totally understand that. Very very interesting. I like it. I like it a lot. I really can't wait. I wonder how long it's gonna take. I know it's definitely not gonna come in 2025, but it just should be maybe the season after that, maybe 2026. But I like it. It took me a long time to adjust to the ghost runner and extra innings. It took me a while to adjust to that. I'm just glad they don't use that in a playoff situation because I don't see that working. Not for me. Like we're old school, so we don't want too many rules changed. But this kind of rule, and this new implement, I like it. I like it. I like it. I like it. I'm excited. I'm really excited about it. The pitch clock, I wasn't excited about that either. I didn't like that. I didn't like the fact that my pitcher was gonna get rushed to throw the next pitch over the plate. But now that I'm in it and I'm watching it, it works. It works. I mean, you would think that that amount of time isn't enough for a pitcher to set up and throw again, but it is. It is. It's all right. It doesn't bother me as much. And I've been to a lot of games this season, and the games are definitely moving at a faster clip. So I appreciate it. It doesn't really bother me as much now. Something you have to get used to, but it's not as bad as I thought it would be. The shifting this year, either you can't shift anymore. You have to have your
I
feet.
love that rule.
You love that rule, right? It's kind of no shifting,
Absolutely.
yeah, because it with the shifting, it's almost like they went too hard on analytics side of the game, right? So they're like, oh, Pablo hits, to the left side, 90% of the time. So you see the whole infield shift over, and guess what? Pablo hits to the left side 90% of the time. So they're pretty much set up for that ball. So now that's not the case. You have to have your feet set in that position until the ball is hit. So you would think that it will cause a lot more hits and it will cause the game to, like, drag and last longer, but that's not the case. And it's crazy because you would think that contact hitters would be able to hit 400, 500 because of that rule, right? Because they see the gaps and they know how to actually attack the ball properly to get it into those gaps. But that's not the case. Look at McNeil, for example. McNeil hasn't been able to hit, and he's a contact hitter. He doesn't hit the ball hard, he slaps the ball. But for some reason, once that, you know, was implemented into the league, he hasn't been able to hit. I would wonder, like, what a player like Tony Gwynn would have been able to do with this new rule where you can't shift and stuff like that. That's crazy. He would probably hit 600. Yeah, he was already hitting pretty high up in the numbers, but I don't know. It depends on the player, I guess. I don't know. It's just weird, but I noticed that a lot of players now, because of that problem, they hit the ball on the high side. They kind of want to slap the ball right over the infield because that pretty much equals a hit. But it's changing the way batters hit the ball, which is crazy because now there's no shifting, and you know you can't just hit it straight up the middle. You can't hit it straight to, it's like, it's weird. Everybody's like swinging high or swinging at really low pitches because they want the ball to, like, kind of like roll or you know jump right over the infield. So, like, it's kind of like we don't want to even deal with the infield. It's weird. I don't know. It's a different way of playing the game. you know but anyway, I'm looking forward to it. It sounds like you're looking forward to it. Let's see what happens. I actually want to, like, tune into a lot of these minor league games now, especially when the ABS system is on, because I definitely haven't watched any of these games, but I kind of like want to tune in and see how it's going down, you know, from a fan's perspective, obviously. But
Yeah.
I'm,
So if you have the MLB app, like I pay for the year, it's like $21 for the year. The It allows you can listen to all the MLB games, plus it allows you to watch all the minor league games. So whatever team that you like, so you can watch all the Mets minor league games for free, or the Brooklyn Cyclones, which is great because the other day I was recently watching the game, and it was the Baltimore Ironbirds versus the Brooklyn Cyclones, and in that game, uh, Alvarez was doing his rehab start, and in that game, Brooklyn
oh,
threw a no hitter. It was pretty amazing. I meant to tell you the other day. It was like, wow. So he was a part of Brooklyn Cyclones no hitter history.
that's awesome.
So I think it was the first or second ever in franchise. So it was kind of cool to see Francisco Alvarez being behind the plate and be a part of that. But in that game, they had a live ump. I didn't see the
The
automatic
ABS
balls and
system,
strike system. So I don't know. Maybe there is. They just don't tell you about it. But who knows?
interesting.
Yeah.
Uh, I used to go to a lot of those games a couple of years ago. Actually, I
We
used to
used to
work
work them
those
all the.
games.
Oh man.
Yeah, we used to
I
work them
don't miss
together.
them, man. It's a hike.
Yeah,
People don't know what we're talking about. To go out to Coney Island from anywhere, whether you're from Queens, Brooklyn, Manhattan, even parts of Brooklyn, it's far. It's like middle of. It's not middle of nowhere, but it's the first part of Brooklyn. It takes forever. The trains are
yeah.
slow. The
But I
games are
enjoyed it though.
slow.
I enjoyed it
But it
though.
was fun because
It
it was
was
more of
fun.
a fan-friendly atmosphere.
It was
There's less people to
small
really deal with.
crowds. Yeah,
Small crowds. Games are fairly quicker compared to
yeah.
like a major league game. So it was
I
fun while we
yeah, I
worked them.
enjoyed it. I mean,
Less stressful.
yeah, we had a lot of fun doing it together. So it's just it's history for us. And remember, they won that championship. I don't think you were around for that. Were you? I
No,
don't
I
think
was
so.
already
No,
gone. I
you was
was
already gone. You
in Atlanta.
in Atlanta already, right? Yeah. But I wasn't around for that when they won that championship in Brooklyn. Pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. But let's talk about our little friend now, Ipe, right? The former interpreter for the Los Angeles Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani, who pleaded guilty to bank fraud and tax fraud for stealing nearly $17 million out of this guy's bank account. Guess what? He's lost another job. And this is hilarious to me. I don't even know what to think about this. So he was delivering Uber Eats, right, for a while. And he got banned because, pending litigation, he was banned, because right now he's going through a court case. He just pleaded guilty and he's still going through the process. And Uber Eats said, no, we don't want anything to do with this. So guess what, buddy? You can't work for us. Can you imagine a guy that was making so much money and was in the middle of it all, enjoying his life, and by simply being an interpreter for the greatest two-way star we've ever had, like baseball sweetheart, Shohei Ohtani. You were in the middle of that. Anything that had to deal with this guy, you were the front man for that. You were the guy that did everything for this guy. Whatever it was, had to settle with Uber Eats to make a living. That's ridiculous to me. It's ridiculous. He has no idea how much he effed up to.
Well, that just also tells you, if you're having to resort to doing Uber Eats, that just means that he's not good with money. There's two things it proved. One, he's not good with money at all because he was horrible at betting, and if he wasn't betting his money, he was just probably spending it hand over fist to the point where now he can't even get a regular job. The fact that if he was smart and he had saved up all that money, I know for sure Shohei was paying him pretty good money.
Of course, he was.
It's hard to. So he's probably just not good with money. He's pretty stupid. But it also just tells you like either Shohei Ohtani is a complete dunce, or he really, he was exonerated. Said like he has nothing to do with this. There's not an inside job, or he knew about Mizuhara stealing money from him. He had no clue. He's just completely like shell shocked, like the way we were when we first found out. So if that's which I'll take it for what it is until otherwise. But with that being said, man, it just tells you, man, you got to be careful who you surround yourself with. Your best friend could be the devil at the same time.
Yeah,
I'm
it's
sure you've
pretty crazy.
experienced that. I've experienced that in my life, and it just stinks. But it's a lesson learned for him, and you just gotta do a better job surrounding yourself. And if I'm Otani, I'm gonna work on learning how to speak English. That way, I don't have to have
Definitely.
another person. Like literally, this guy was like literally living with him, doing everything. It's like
Yeah,
if they were a
his right
husband and
hand.
wife, and
Yeah,
he's married too, Shohei. So it's crazy that you could do all that without even the guy knowing. It's awful. I'd love to interview. It'd be amazing to have the one-on-one interview with Shohei Ohtani. A couple years from now when he's retired, just to get his honest opinion. Because right now he's not gonna tell us about it
he
because
won't.
it's still fresh. And to him, he looks up to the guy as a good guy. Yeah, he made a mistake. You build a reputation with people. You get to know people for who they are as a person. You look past as the fact that we're a business partner. And, at the day we're human beings too. And so I'm sure it probably hurts him to see that going down. Because at the same time, this guy, from what we all know, he's a standing citizen. He never got in trouble with the law. He was always respectful of Tani. Always gave him his privacy, things like that. So to see that happen is just like, what the heck? So I'm sure he was thrown off. So it sounds like Otani was completely thrown off his rocker, and he had no clue what's going on. So it'll be interesting years down the line when they interview and ask him what his thoughts are. But it's kind of crazy, man, that you have to resort to Uber Eats. Like, don't get me wrong, it's a job. I do Instacart on the side. You
It
do your
is. It
hustle.
is.
I know you say your sister sometimes the DoorDash. It's a job. It's not bad, but it's not a good. It's not a career job. You got to bust your butt. But to get banned from that, that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy because I know he was making bank with Otani, and to not have any of it to fall back on, yeah, he definitely wasn't expecting to get caught, and he didn't put his acorns in a little corner for later. You know what I'm saying? Like that's pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy. So good
Yeah,
luck
I
to you,
think.
sir.
Yeah, I also, I was just thinking about too. I was wondering like how did Otani know about this way before we and the MLB found out? And the reason why maybe it came to light because the sports, whoever bookie that guy used, he would have said, "Okay, Otani, listen, if you pay me X amount of money, I won't snitch out you to the MLB and say, hey, look what's going on, and we'll just keep it moving." And maybe Otani said, "Well, I'm not going to do that." Because remember, this is my theory because I think it came out now because he probably realized, hey, this guy's about to sign a massive contract. There's a very good chance he'll just say, you know what, here's some money, just shut up, go away, and I'll keep my translator and we'll act like nothing happens. And maybe Otani said, well, nope, I want my money. I'm not gonna pay you to hush hush. And he said, okay. And then that's probably how they report. The way they found out, the way the MLB found out, as we speaking on this topic, several players in the major leagues, in the minor league system, one guy in Pittsburgh, he just got suspended for life in the majors because when he was with the San Diego Padres, we talked about this last week, he was
It was the
betting
other way
on the
around actually.
Pirates,
When he was with
right?
the Pirates,
Yeah, when he was with the
he
Pirates. Thank you.
yeah, because he was with the Pirates, he got hurt, and then he ended up in San Diego, and then they found out about it. But he was with San Diego when they found out about it. But it all happened when he was with Pittsburgh, and he got hurt, and he wasn't playing, and he was trying to capitalize on the betting, and that's cheating, bro. I don't care what anybody says. It's the same
Oh,
thing with
definitely, it's definitely
it's
cheating.
cheating. I don't want to hear it.
Because you have advantage over everybody else.
Yeah,
Like for example, that interpreter, you look at him, he looked like he wouldn't hurt a fly, but he's pretty smart. He knows what's going on. He knows what was happening in the LA locker room. He knew if Trout was 100%. He knew if Otani was 100%.
of
So
course.
if nowadays now you have apps where before you could just bet like in certain states you could just bet the over under on the game itself or how many points or the difference. Now you can bet on individual players. So for example, if he knows that X, Y, and Z is not feeling well, he knows for sure that guy's not going to get two hits in the game because one, he's not feeling, he might not be up to snuff, and he's just going to go up there and just wing it. And, if he gets a hit, great. If he doesn't, it's not the end of the world. Whereas if the interpreter knew that, he could go be like, all right, I'm gonna bet my money that Otani's gonna go under on 2.5 hits. Let's just say for the game because
No, it's
he
true.
knows Otani's sick. He's not feeling well. He's probably not gonna strain himself. He's not gonna go all out in that bet. So that's why it's bad for the game.
Yeah, of
You know what I
course it
mean?
is. It's insider information that we wouldn't even know about. It's exactly like it's like my man Edwin Diaz. I don't think he's hurt. I don't think he was hurt at all. I think they said, you know what, we need to shut him down and try to figure out his mechanics. But no, he has an impingement, blah, blah, blah. I don't believe that for 2 seconds. A lot of teams do this all the time. They say, oh, this guy's going down for a hamstring. You can't really prove that, so they shut him down. It's real simple. Like my dad always says, back in the day, if you were the hot hand, you played. It didn't matter how much money you were making. Now, we already know Lindor is never going to sit down, no matter how bad of a slump he has, because he's making so much money and they don't want the papers writing down, putting it on the front page saying Lindor is making $342 million and he's on the bench relaxing and watching the game. I don't think so. That's not how it works now. This is why I believe that Showalter was told to quit, because he didn't
Oh,
have it.
definitely. He was
He
forced out.
he
He
was
didn't just
forced out.
resign.
He didn't resign. He was forced to quit because he wanted to play the hot hand. And this is how you win ball games. You can't just say, you know what, this guy's making so much money, we have to keep him in the game, because we look like idiots if we have this guy sitting on the bench. Because you pay for this horse and you want to see that horse run. But no, if you're not hitting, you shouldn't be playing. You need to work on your mechanics. You can sit down for a couple of weeks. Look, it's actually happening now as we speak, and I love it. McNeil didn't play for a whole week because he wasn't producing. And then you bring this guy up. He's a 34-year-old rookie who played in Colorado and then it was sent back down and never was able to come back up from the minor league system. And guess what? He came back to the majors and he's a hitting machine. He's 34 years old. He's not a rookie. He's been around for a long time. But he stole McNeil's job McNeil just recently was able to come back and get a couple of hits in that London series, I believe. But prior to that, he was garbage. Let's just keep it real. I don't want to, you know, talk, like that about my team, but it's true. Listen, if you're not hitting, you shouldn't be playing. You need to figure out what's wrong and then bring you back up. This is what it's all about, right? You have all these trainers, you have a system in play, and you guys need to figure it out. Now, they're saying that Diaz was hurt. I don't believe it for 2 seconds. I think that his mechanics were off because he was gone for a long time, and they needed to figure it out. And we'll see what happens with him. But that's a story for a later day, you know. But we're gonna talk about the pitcher of the week. Mr. Charlie Morton, Atlanta Braves. He went 6 innings, giving up 1 hit, striking out six, beating out Oakland 2-1. That's pretty impressive. Charlie Morton is 40 years old, I believe, and he's still pitching like an animal. And you know what? That's what I'm talking about. I love guys that hang around for a long time and are able to produce for their ball clubs like that. Salute to Charlie Morton. And I know
Yeah,
that's one
he's
of
he's he's amazing, man. I've watched him pitch a couple times this year, and when he comes out on the mound, you have a I say 80% chance that you're probably gonna win the game because he's so dominant. He threw a complete game this year. It was a no was I think it was a no hitter. Yeah, so it's pretty amazing. And at 40 years old, he's great. I don't know how much left he has left in the tank, but he's good for now. So and it doesn't really get hurt that much. So it's good, and they need it because Atlanta's lost a couple of their pitcher,
yeah, they
Strider and all
lost
that.
Strider. Yeah, and
Yep,
they lost the mighty Acuna.
Acuna. Yeah, that's a
We've
big
seen them win a
loss.
champion. It's a big loss, but we've seen them prevail without Acuna. But when you lose a starter like Strider, it's hard to come back from that. Like you guys went through the same thing too. You guys lost a couple of starters too.
Yeah,
You know,
Baltimore.
and it's funny because both of those guys are getting Tommy John for the second time. It's interesting. Usually like I've seen a lot of people, a lot of pitchers go through Tommy John surgery and they come back stronger and better. But now these two guys are going in for their second Tommy John. So they're gonna be gone for a while. And you guys are still relevant in the race and you guys are fighting and I can't wait to see that Baltimore and Yankees series because that's what we've all been waiting for. That is where we're gonna know who's the boss. Who's the boss? And I totally believe in the Baltimore Orioles. I would love to see them make it to the World Series this year. And we'll see what happens. We're almost at the midway point, and it's gonna be fun to watch. A lot of these teams are mediocre at this moment, and they feel like they have a chance due to the wild card situation that we have in play now. And we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. And now we're gonna talk about the hit of the week, and that's Juan Soto. On this show, Juan Soto has been spoken about a lot, and
Almost
he's
like
been
every
the
episode.
yeah, unfortunately, of course. Listen, I don't
He's
want to
having a
front
great
on the
year,
man.
man.
He's having a great year, exactly. And you know what? He's a Yankee now, and we'll see how long that lasts because we all know that
Next year he'll
I
be a Met.
no 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 no. We
That's
don't
my
want to see
prediction.
that. That's your prediction. That's funny because that means that money talks. But
Money.
I think
Cohen got the money. Why not? Uncle Cohen got the money. Uncle
Uncle
Steve,
Steve, right? No, but
he
I
got
don't
that
believe
money.
that. No, I don't believe that for 2 seconds. You know why? Because I actually believe that Juan Soto has actually found a home. Now, the problem is if the Yankees win this year, I have a feeling that they're going to dismantle. They're not going to pay him. They're not going to pay him because you know what happens when a team wins a championship. They usually say, you know what, we don't need this big piece anymore. We want a championship. We can start fresh and try to rebuild and try to figure it out again because the pressure's gone now. The city's happy, and they don't feel like they have to spend that all that money. But the Yankees are a little different. All right, the Yankees are like, well, we just won. Let's do it again. But how much money is it gonna really cost them to do it again? So are they willing to pay all that money to try to get it done 2 times in a row. But I can almost guarantee you that if the Yankees win this year, they will dismantle this team and they will not even offer Soto any money. I mean, like, a couple of weeks ago, we had the episode and we talked about how the Yankees were, trying to offer him and lock him up, you know? But we haven't heard anything since then. And we don't know what kind of progress these guys have made. You have to understand, he's a Scott Boras client too, But let's see what happens. Let's see what happens with that too. But I honestly believe that if the Yankees win a championship this year, they will not re-sign Soto. They want to win now. They're gonna do everything they can. I believe in the at the trade deadline. They're gonna try to make themselves a little stronger. I believe they'll get rid of Rizzo, maybe even DFA him if they find the right, replacement, Pete Alonso. You know what? I'm looking forward to it. I want to get rid of Pete Alonso so bad. I don't care where he lands. I don't care if he hits 70 home runs for the Yankees. I don't care. I just want him out of a Mets uniform. I don't want him there anymore. He's unable to produce for us, and I don't care where he lands. And if he's able to help the Yankees on what we call that term as a rental player, because he's on a walk year, the Mets can easily get rid of him. And hey, even if we have to pay half of his contract to get rid of him, he's owed at the halfway mark. He'll be owed $10 million. He's on a $20 million contract right now. I heard a rumor today that he's expecting $200 million. The Mets offered him $158 million
No.
prior to the season starting, and he said no. Or maybe Scott said no because he's
Probably
another Scott
Scott.
Boras. It was probably Scott. But you
Yeah.
know what?
I think that's a crazy
See you later.
expectation to get 200 because
See you later.
he's not like Freddie Freeman or Matt Olson, and
There's no
they
way.
play defense at best. His defense is not his strength. His strength is hitting home runs.
And you know what bothers me about this guy? All right, so he's gonna be 30 when he gets his new contract, right? So you're telling me you want $200 million? So you want $20 million for the rest of your career? You know you're not gonna be any good at the age of 40, let alone the age of 36. You're no good right now. So why do you think you deserve $200 million? That's insane to me. Get out of here, Mr. Alonso. Get out of
Because he
here.
has
You should.
Scott Boris and he knows
Yeah,
how to
well,
get
we
that.
don't know what happened to Blake Snell and Jordan Montgomery, and I
They're
don't
all
think so,
struggling.
buddy.
Out of all
Struggling.
those guys, Montgomery's the only one that's doing decent.
Yeah, but you know what? He's the only one that got rid of Boris too. He got rid of him. He said no.
That's right. I forgot about that.
He did. He got rid of him.
So,
Well,
well,
we're coming to the end of the show. This is a special edition episode. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and we'll see you at
stay
the end of the
tuned for the
week.
next one. We got more
Exactly.
coming out, and our goal, just to let y'all fans know, our goal is eventually to go video. Bring it, people like visuals and things like that, and that is our goal. We just wanted to get comfortable with recording without the video, and we got to a point where we're very comfortable being on camera now, and so now that's our goal, and hopefully that'll propel us even more.
Yeah, you'll definitely be seeing our ugly mug soon. And yeah.
Speak for yourself,
Well, you know what? You're right. You are pretty handsome, buddy. If
right?
anybody hasn't noticed, well, you will notice. Lasha looks like a young Bryce Harper, and yeah, you'll see that. I mean, sometimes he likes to shave, but when he wears his beard, he. I feel like I'm talking to Bryce. It's crazy to me, but you'll see exactly what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. Stay
So
tuned, guys,
stay
and
tuned and see you soon.
enjoy the rest of your night.
Thanks a lot,
Exactly.
Pablo.
Peace,
See you,
brother.
bro.
See ya.